Do you think God has a sense of
I do. I think he has a sense of humor.
Joel Osteen built a $100 million empire preaching hope, faith, and God's blessings. But after 20 years of silence, a former insider, his own bodyguard, has sparked questions that don't line up with the message. The stories don't match the sermons. There's the mystery of $600,000 that vanished from a church safe. Money later found hidden inside a bathroom wall. A plumber who stumbled onto something no one ever came back for. And a question that still lingers: what exactly was being protected? This is the story behind America's most recognizable pastor and the cracks beneath the surface. Joel Scott Osteen was born on March 5, 1963, in Houston, Texas, into a family already deeply rooted in ministry. His father, John Osteen, founded Lakewood Church in 1959, starting in something as humble as an abandoned feed store. But John wasn't just another local preacher. After what he described as a powerful spiritual experience in 1958, his beliefs shifted, and his ministry took on a charismatic direction. Over time, he built something massive, writing over 45 books, launching a global television program, and growing Lakewood to around 15,000 members by the late 1990s. Joel, however, wasn't the obvious successor. He attended Oral Roberts University to study radio and television but dropped out after a year. Instead of preaching, he spent 17 years behind the scenes, producing his father's sermons and building the church's television presence. Ironically, he was the one who pushed John into TV ministry, despite the risks associated with televangelists at the time. While Joel worked quietly in the background, his personal life took shape. He married Victoria Eloff in 1987, and together they had 2 children. Then everything changed fast. On January 17, 1999, Joel delivered his very first sermon. He wasn't known as a preacher. He wasn't trained for it. In fact, he reportedly wore his father's shoes just to feel confident enough to stand on stage. 6 days later, John Osteen died of a heart attack. By October of that same year, Joel Osteen, who had never gone to seminary and had only preached once, became senior pastor. It wasn't a smooth transition. There were others in the family who seemed like more natural successors. Some were disappointed. Some left. Lakewood had the structure of a family-run organization, with relatives holding key roles behind the scenes. Joel didn't just inherit a church, he inherited a brand, a business, and a complicated family system. And then came the explosion. When Joel took over, weekly attendance hovered between 6,000 and 8,000. Over time, it surged past 45,000. The church didn't just grow, it transformed. In 2001, Lakewood made a bold move, leasing the former Compaq Center, once home to the Houston Rockets. The deal was controversial and expensive. Legal battles followed. The city eventually stepped in, purchasing surrounding land for $33 million to make the deal work. Lakewood then poured over $100 million into renovations. By 2005, the church had moved into a 16,800-seat arena. Even that wasn't the end of the controversy. In 2010, the city sold the property to Lakewood for just $7.5 million, a figure critics argued was far below market value. Still, the deal stood. As the church grew, so did the questions, especially about money. Joel Osteen's wealth has long fascinated critics and supporters alike. Estimates have ranged from $40 million to $100 million, though exact figures remain unverified. What is clear is how that wealth was built. Since 2004, Osteen has published 26 books, with several becoming #1 bestsellers. His breakout hit, Your Best Life Now, sold millions of copies and stayed on bestseller lists for years. That success changed everything. He eventually stopped taking a salary from the church, relying instead on book deals, speaking engagements, reportedly earning up to $200,000 per event, and media platforms, including a radio channel and a massively popular podcast. His reach spans millions worldwide. And so does his lifestyle. Osteen lives in a 17,000-square-foot mansion in one of Houston's most exclusive neighborhoods. The property includes multiple bedrooms, elevators, fireplaces, and even space for up to 20 vehicles. Its value is estimated between $14 and $16 million. Despite the luxury, some rumors, like owning private jets or exotic cars, have never been proven. But one story couldn't be brushed aside. In March 2014, approximately $600,000 disappeared from a safe inside Lakewood Church. The money, cash and checks from weekend donations, vanished without a trace. No arrests were ever made. The case went cold. Then, 7 years later, something strange happened. In November 2021, a plumber working inside the church removed a toilet and discovered hundreds of envelopes hidden inside a wall. Inside them? Cash, checks, and money orders, some dated the exact day of the original theft. The connection was undeniable. But the mystery only deepened. Who hid the money? Why inside a wall? And why did they never come back for it? The case remains unsolved. And the questions remain unanswered. Then came Hurricane Harvey in 2017, a moment that would seriously damage Osteen's public image. As the storm flooded Houston, Lakewood initially said the church was inaccessible due to flooding. But social media quickly filled with images suggesting otherwise. At the same time, local businessman Mattress Mac opened his stores as shelters and personally helped rescue stranded residents. The contrast was stark. Public backlash exploded. Critics accused Osteen of closing his doors while others stepped up. The narrative spread quickly, and the damage to his reputation was immediate. Eventually, Lakewood did open its doors, but for many, the delay had already said enough. Then there was another controversy, this time involving Victoria Osteen. In 2005, she was involved in an incident on a flight that escalated into a legal battle. A flight attendant accused her of physical and verbal aggression. Victoria denied the claims. She was fined $3,000 by the FAA but did not admit guilt. The case went to trial in 2008. After less than 3 hours of deliberation, the jury found Victoria not liable. Still, the situation added another layer to the growing list of controversies surrounding the Osteen name. But perhaps the biggest criticism of Lakewood Church isn't about one incident, it's about transparency. As a religious organization, Lakewood isn't required to publicly disclose detailed financial records. That lack of visibility has drawn criticism for years. One rare financial snapshot showed the church bringing in $89 million in a single year, mostly from donations. But the breakdown raised eyebrows. Only a small fraction, less than 2%, went to missions and outreach. Meanwhile, tens of millions went to operations, media production, and events. For critics, that imbalance was hard to ignore. Even during the COVID-19 pandemic, controversy followed. Lakewood accepted $4.4 million in government relief funds, then later repaid the full amount after public backlash. And then there's the theology. Some of the most prominent Christian leaders in America have openly criticized Osteen's message, calling it a version of prosperity theology that prioritizes success, wealth, and positivity over traditional teachings about sacrifice, sin, and repentance. Osteen, however, has never hidden his approach. He sees himself as a motivator, a coach focused on lifting people up, not weighing them down. Inside Lakewood, the picture is just as complex. Some high-profile leaders have left over the years. Anonymous employee reviews describe a workplace marked by low pay, limited growth, and favoritism. And yet, others still defend it. Because like everything surrounding Joel Osteen, the story is never simple. It's a mix of massive success, unanswered questions, loyal followers, and persistent critics. And at the center of it all is one lingering thought. If everything is exactly as it seems, why do so many pieces feel like they don't fit? If you want more deep dives like this into powerful figures, hidden stories, and the truth behind the headlines, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Prestige Buzz, and turn on the bell notification, and never miss what they don't want you to see.